Hello, moms. This is Angela Johnson Ayers with Confessions of Mommy. Uh, do you all sometimes feel like just being a mother is more than what you thought it would be? Is more than what you signed up for? Because I got to be honest with you, I've been feeling that lately. I've been feeling that, I have the 6-year-old and the 10-year-old, and just been feeling like, man, I'm failing, and not in every area, but in not, it's just with the 10-year-old, she's going through this phase where I guess it seems like whatever I do is wrong. As far as everybody in her class my class has phones, mom, and I'm like, you don't need a telephone. I understand, and it's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that children at 10 shouldn't have phones, but a lot of the students who do have phones, they ride the buses or they walk home. My kids, I take them everywhere, so she doesn't need a phone right now. And then there's certain video games we don't want her to play, and she, I guess her classmates say they play it or whatever, and it's just a constant. It just seems like it's a constant tug of war. Mom, can I do this? Can I have that? Can I go here? She had asked us some kid was supposed to have been having a birthday party or a slumber party. The kid never even sent invitations out, and so Anna was like, I want to go to the slumber party. And we don't let our children just spend the night over people's houses, especially people we don't know, and so I just told her no. And I mean, it was just, oh my God, it was just something to deal with. And it's funny because before I became a mom and I worked in the education field, I would give people advice on what they should do with their children. But it's so funny, when you have children of your own, you really realize that you don't know nothing about being a parent. It's true. You think you know. You know what I'm saying? It's so funny because I always reference back to this. One of my bestest friends, Judith, we went to Penn State together. Whoop, whoop. And she got married and had kids before me. And so I would give her unsolicited mommy advice. And she's so gracious. She's not going to be like, look, you need to mind your business. You don't have no kids. You don't know what you're talking about. She would just take it. And I know a lot of times she was probably thinking, I wish Angela just shut the hell up. But she didn't. But, and I found myself being that same way, just telling everybody what they need to do with their kids. But when you become a parent, 9.99% of the time, and I've talked to other mothers, and you all can let me know if I'm right or wrong, half the stuff you think you're going to do, you don't do. A lot of times we parent out of our hurts from our lives. And I noticed that in myself. Or we parent from the areas where we felt like we lacked in. For example, we all want our children to have a better life than we did, I grew up in a house it was 8 people total. My mom, my dad, and all the siblings. And although we went to some of the best schools and we were in a lot of great activities, you would have thought the way that we lived as far as the activities in the schools we went to, that we were rich, but we totally were not. We were the opposite. But I did not like how, money was not always prevalent. And I didn't like how just certain things were. When things would break down a lot of times, not having the money to fix it or just not getting it fixed, I hate that. I cannot stand it. That's why I asked the Lord, I said, God, look, this is the type of husband I want, and I need a man who can fix things, because I have this pet peeve. If something breaks, don't leave it broke. Fix the doggone thing, because it's just human nature. Most people something will break and it'll never get fixed. And I grew up with that a lot of times. I grew up a lot with a poverty mentality, even though, like I said, we were in things. We went to great schools, and my parents sacrificed a whole heck of a lot. But I still grew up with a lack mentality. And that's not all their fault, but it is what I felt and saw. And so I carried that a lot into my early adult life. So I vowed that when I had children, that my children would just have a certain type of lifestyle. I vowed that I didn't want them to have to share a room, because I shared a room. It's nothing against sharing a room. I thought it was great. I loved my younger sister, Belinda, who I shared a room with, but I wanted my children to have their own. We weren't allowed to watch TV at all in our house, much except for on Sundays, okay? And that's because my dad was very strict with the education aspect. Cool. But I wanted my children to have TVs in their room. But I wanted them to have the discipline that they don't have to watch it all the time. I didn't want so I grew up giving them so much more than what I had. Now, in doing so, is that doing a disservice to our children? You know, think about it for yourself. A lot of times we parent in the area that we lacked in. For example, you may not have gotten the type of accolades or love or attention that you felt like you should have gotten, so you pour that onto your child. But the danger in that is your child may not even need all that. Your child's love language may be totally different than what you needed. And so I think that adds to raising generations of entitled children. I noticed that, not just with my parenting, but with other parents too this day and age. Particularly, a lot of parents nowadays are people waiting longer in life to have children. So you have those parents who are in their 40s, like I am, 47, almost 48 years old, and with younger children. And so many have the money. I ain't got that much money, but many have the money to really spoil their children and give their children what they did not have. And I think it's great that you want to have opportunities for your children. But when we parent in our deficit, when we parent in our lack, I think it's very dangerous. And so I notice within myself, when my children a lot of times want to do things, because in my household growing up, everything was so strict. I don't want to be too strict, but there has to be rules. So when the 10-year-old was like having a fit because I was explaining to her, I cannot let you just stay in and everywhere. Me and Daddy are responsible for you, and anything can happen. Now you can go to the party. I'll go to the party with you and stay there with you, but you will not be spending the night. That was a fight within itself. For a split second there, after I left her fussing, because with my daughter, the 10-year-old, you cannot fuss back and forth with her. If you go back and forth with her, you will catch a case and go to jail. I'm telling you now. You cannot go back and forth with these kids today. It'll drive you crazy. Especially if you're raised old school where kids were seen and not heard like I was. So, when I went into the bedroom, I said, Larry, should we let this kid go to the sleepover? Now, I'm starting to contemplate in my mind because I started thinking back to when I was younger and I would want to go places and my dad, everything was no mostly. And I started getting ready to parent in my deficit. But I didn't and then I caught myself. And I said, wait a minute. Right in the middle when Larry was talking, I said, no, boo, I got it. She's not spending no night. We don't know these people. We don't even know the people that the people know. She's not spending the night. Matter of fact, she might not even go to the party. Long story short, it wasn't even a party. But I say all that to say this. If you're parenting in your deficit, try to recognize it. Because I'm totally recognizing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's important that you find what your kid needs. Because if we don't, when we parent in our own deficit, we're trying to give ourselves subconsciously what we feel like we needed. When in reality, our children might not even need all of that. You know what I mean? I just was thinking about that. And I just, because a lot of times I'm in my head, and I'm thinking things through. And so just wanted to throw that out to you all, that to encourage you moms that just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to get better. It's got to get better, and not to give up, not to get discouraged, not to give in. Don't get weak and just be like, just fine, do it. Do what you want to do. No, you continue to monitor what they're playing on these video games. You continue to monitor what they're chatting with, because the devil, the enemy, is out here to kill, steal, and destroy our children. But we have to declare and decree that he will not succeed in it. Okay, so we got to stay strong, moms. All right, until next time, be blessed. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye-bye.